Finally, Sashi. Now that was it's a feature film with lots of characteristics of documentary, I think, as well. But you wind it into a story. I believe the title, I didn't know this, Kayataran means chrysalis. Yes. And it's to do with the little boy and the journalist. I mean, please explain that to us because it wasn't clear to me.
Yeah, the title is broadly chrysalis, the pupa becoming the butterfly. I think what is suggested is that the boy, first he has cut his hair and he re-establishes or rediscovers his identity, and that becomes a form of fulfillment, a form of emerging into himself in his, in full form, and.
So it is the same character.
It is the same
character.
It is. Yes, okay. Yes. It is.
Okay.
That's why he's going back there. Yes.
Right.
I hope. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Actually, the story of this nuns in a convent in Meerut, and they're saving a woman and her child after the riots in '84. Is a short story by a well-known Malayalam writer called N.S. Madhavan, who lives in Delhi, and he's an IAS officer in Bihar, now retired. And that I had read that story, and it was in my mind. And I also had very close friends, Sikh Sardar friends, and one of them once told me that his father had cut his hair. And he used to say at home that every time he looked at the mirror, he hated the fact that he had to cut his hair. And that somehow stuck in my mind. And his son, his friend, used to talk about that very passionately. But then I didn't quite know how to. I did want to make a film. I didn't know when and how it will happen based on the story. But when 2004 happened, I saw a pattern, and then I said, then something clicked, and I decided to make a film, loosely adapting the story and bringing in the 2004 carnage as well, and therefore it's the same boy. I mean, the boy who's now a journalist, and then he goes back to do a story on conversions, triggered by this fact of 2004 and so on and so forth. So, I'm sorry, 2002. Yes. 2004 when I made the film. So, yeah, 2002. Yeah. And so that is how that came about. Right. And I'm quite. I didn't know honestly that. I thought it was shown today because today is the 31st of October, and it's 30 years exactly after this happened. Yeah. And as we know, there have been several and just by way of clarification, that the journalist he goes to meet first, who talks about the Trilokpuri massacre, is actually Rahul Bedi, the journalist who actually broke the story. Right. Perhaps I should have put something there. It struck me. And the man who they speak to after that, Joseph Malikan, they are the two people who actually went to Trilokpuri, and he's actually narrating what he saw. Mm-hmm. That's not part of the script. That's his own. And he said it. I mean, he's not an actor, but he said it without any break, because he said that 150 times in various commissions of inquiry, and they keep calling him. Yeah, he says it in one shot. Yes. And he says each time he goes to a commission, it's like he's on the dock, and he's being asked. They're hoping he'll change his version every time he asks him, because that the commissions of inquiry were a total eyewash. There was a Justice Tucker Commission inquiry which went into Mrs. Gandhi's massacre, and the needle of suspicion that commission said pointed to R.K. Dhawan, and Rajiv Gandhi rewarded him by making him his political secretary or something. And then we had Ranganath Mishra Commission, which went into the aspect of the riot and whether there were a culpability. And they said they didn't point to Rajiv Gandhi himself, but they said there were other big people who were involved, and we now know who those people are. And then there was the third commission, Nanavati Commission, which also went into it. And yet we are still discussing, culpability, punishment, justice, so many years after the event. And that's the way I think the 2002 will also go. I mean, or it's already gone.
Yeah. I think both your films, from Safdar Hashmi to this one, it was like very close-up thing for my own life, because we used to work parallel with Jan Natya Manch. I worked in Afghan Natya Manch. And so, you know, very closely, some of the spaces where they are performing, we are performing after them. So it was such an emotional feeling, because we know that, you know, a few of us who were part of Afghan Natya Manch, we are there somewhere, you know, around watching, etc. So it was, I mean, yeah. And then Afghan Natya Manch did a play called Taki Sanat Rahe on the 1984 riots, which we personally, I mean, we were, had witnessed. And I think all of us in the group had seen something, and we were involved in the relief camps, etc. And we performed that play for 3 years after 1984. In 1987, while we were performing the play for the riot victims, and it was very emotional. That play was, I don't know if you ever saw it. It was so emotional that sometimes would perform to, you know, the people of 1,000 people, 2,000 people, and people would break down. It was a very emotional play. When we performed in front of this crowd, which were wives of the victims, they broke down, and we decided we are not going to do the play again. And so, you know, I was thinking about that, and I'm saying that only because I really marvel at this film, the second one, because it's so close to what we experienced. You know, that night, because I have memories, I hadn't returned home, and I had got caught in Delhi, and you know, so all those memories and seeing everything, I mean, and I've often thought I'll make a film, but I could not, because we've seen it, and I think you need a distance. Like some people say, you need I mean, maybe 10 years of distance or 20 years of distance to go back into things that you can, you know, put back into the film. So I'm just rambling right now. And I just wanted to share that it was very, very emotional, the experience. And just a question, like, did you show this film? Was this film, because I missed it, was it screened in places? What happened to this film?
Yeah, it was screened in Delhi in the Sharif Fort Auditorium to a packed audience, and it was. I've shown this film fairly widely in New York, in Canada, in other places, and invariably the response has been very, very emotive, very strong. There's a sequence there where you find these Preet, the Angad Bedi, who incidentally is Bisham Singh Bedi's son, going to, that was another story. Bisham Singh Bedi didn't want his son to act at all, and he was very furious with me, and I had to go and appease him, you know, about, he said, ये तो cricket खेलना चाहिए क्या, दोबारा उठ के, सुबह उठ के वो आईना देखता है. So anyway, so there's a sequence where he goes and you find the people milling around him as if he's working. That is Trilokpuri actually. That's now when I shot the film. That's Trilokpuri in 2004. And for me personally, the most traumatic part of this filmmaking was that going back there, because obviously there's just a fleeting shot, but people started narrating what happened, and including, you know, the women and you know, several generations. And each of that is a film. I mean, it's a big saga which is untold, or at least suppressed. And so there is there are some genuine that thing on the bridge, as you know, that actually happened. They actually threw a Salvador off the Safdarjung bridge, and he died. And so many of those are actually drawn, since I'm in journalism. I mean, also influenced by the various things I read in the newspapers and heard what happened. So I fictionalized them, partly because I say this is a work of fiction. I should say it's a work of part fiction, but partly for a censor certificate, because this was also released, in movie theaters. So that was the reason, right?
I like that film very much. That is based on Mumbra. It's a very genuine and very unbiased film. Thank you.